we will. To build and not to destroy. That is why we say we are in the service of God and country. This is the voice of the people, and the voice of the people is the voice of God. This is the Black Pot, aka Kukushonomo. And today we have a number of issues we want to look at. And I need you to come along. No two ways about them, Tinderman, my brother. This is the Black Pot, and I'm most excited to be with you. My brother, my sister, I need you to come around so we look at some of these interesting things. Oh my God. Now, my brother, my sister, I'm reading this from Ghana Verb, and I want to go straight to the point. It says, Sam George clashes with Chief Justice over her judicial gangsterism. And I read, now the Member of Parliament for Ningo Pram Sam George has fired salvos at the current Chief Justice, Justice Gertrude Araba Esaba Saki Tokunu. Now, according to him, the Chief Justice is engaged in judicial thuggery, which he believes is a threat to the dispensation of justice in an equitable, fair, and just manner. Sam George believes that the Chief Justice is clothed in politics and that must not be entertained in the judiciary. Now, making his point clear in a post shared via X, he said, there is absolutely no doubt in my mind that the current Chief Justice is engaged in political thuggery and poses as existential threat, poses an existential threat to the dispensation of justice in an equitable, fair, and just manner. He added, such partisan behavior at the apex of our judiciary must not be entertained and must be condemned with all the force reasonable people can muster. Now, judicial gangsterism is a precursor for the breakdown in the dispensation of justice and the doctrine of the rule of law. Now, common sense ought to be an ingredient in the dispensation of justice. Now, the attack comes after the Supreme Court scheduled Roxanne Nelson Dafiameko's suit challenging the constitutionality of the president's ministerial nominations ahead of the hearing on Richard Delasky's suit seeking an injunction on the anti-gay bill. Well, I'll leave it here. Now, my brother, let's go straight to the point and let's look at this. What Sam George is saying is that there's some political thuggery, some political gangsterism going on. Now, we all remember that there is the so-called anti-gay bill awaiting the signature of the President of the Republic of Ghana. My brother, my sister, all of a sudden, Mr. President said, oh, the matter is in court. Some two people have decided to challenge whatever. Therefore, I am waiting for the Supreme Court to deal with the issue so we can deal with this. Then, as if in a do me, do you kind of phenomenon, my brother, my sister, the NDC, the minority in Parliament, also decided to go to court using Roxanne Dafiamekpo. And what did he seek to challenge? The vetting of new ministers ahead of the signing of the so-called anti-gay bill. My brother, my sister, many people have seen it as tit for tat. Do me, I do you. My brother, my sister, they say it is good for our democracy. Now the Supreme Court decides that, okay, we will deal with the Dafiamekpo issue first. And once this issue is dealt with first, the Parliament may be forced to vet ministers whilst the President's original agenda of, oh, I'm waiting for the Supreme Court to finish up with the challenge in court concerning the so-called anti-gay bill. My brother, my sister, our democracy is at risk. These are the people who are supposed to be dispensing justice to the people. But it looks like there is a certain kind of cherry picking going on. It looks like there is a certain kind of choosing and picking. How is it that this challenge in court over the anti-gay bill has been there long before Dafamioko went in there? But the Fiameko issue is going to be handled first. Can we have an explanation? Wherever it is, Mr. President is bent on not signing this bill. And whatever Mr. President will do to run out of this, my brother, my sister, he will. Right now, the whole Ghana has come to realize that Mr. President is not interested in signing this so-called anti-gay bill. And what pains me most is not necessarily about the bill. It's about our sovereignty, our independence. Why is Mr. President refusing to sign the bill? Using all kinds of political jingoisms and gymnastics. Because he wants to keep feeding from off the crumbs of the table of the West. That is the bottom line. When we had that arrogant vice president coming from America, Kamala Harris, and throw her weight all over the country, I felt like I was still in slavery. These people can come to us and make a lot of noise into our ears because we still depend on them for crumbs from off their table. She told us bluntly that she doesn't care what our laws say. She doesn't care what we think. But what she thinks is supreme in her mind. And that is that LGBTQI plus issues are human rights issues. My brother, my sister, need I say anything more? For some time now, our judiciary has been under attack for the so-called unjust dispensation of justice. My brother, my sister, Anas Armiyao Anas was able to give us a tip of the iceberg of the stinking situation when we saw judges taking goats and money to free hardened criminals. Have we been able to weed out all these dirty judges from our judiciary? Have we been able to deal with all the rotten eggs in our judiciary? Today, my brother, my sister, the president is busily appointing all the top guns in our judiciary. How can they speak against the president? Our democracy is a joke. The president is the one who appoints the IGP. He is the one who appoints all the top guns at the judiciary. All those who are supposed to be dispensing justice to us, it is Mr. President who appoints them. And most of the time, our leaders in Africa are so corrupt and dangerous. So all these people tend to be in bed with them. Our independence, our so-called sovereignty, nonetheless, is nothing but a joke. Next thing I want to quickly look at is coming from Peace FM Online, and it says, bottom line, Bawumia has never been president before. Nana Akomia to critics, and I read, my brother, my sister, and when you look at it, all that Nana Akomia is seeking to achieve here is that Mahama has been president before. So when we are judging the two of them, we should judge them on the pedestal of their presidency. My brother, the vice president is only a step away from being president. Anything they say can happen for the vice president to become president. I live in a country where people believe that they cannot contribute meaningfully to the society except when they have a certain label called a post. As long as they do not have any post, they are useless. The president said that he brought on Bawumia because of his brains. We were all in Ghana when Bawumia was shipped in from nowhere. They told us he was an economic waste kid. We mistook a blacksmith for Adam Smith. At the end of the day, the economy is stinking rotten. Bawumia himself is running away from the economy and running away from the shenanigans of the president who picked him to make his presidency better. Bawumia himself is running away from this president. He calls himself and relegates himself so badly to the back bench and calls himself a mate. Now, a man like this can never be trusted. He's not responsible. It's very simple. My brother, if you work on a ship and you talk to the captain, this journey that we are embarking on, I think that it is best to do it like this and like this and like that. And captain says, no, it is best to do it like this. If you are so sure that the captain is going the wrong direction, what do? You resign and walk off in order not to endanger yourself and your reputation. But in our country, a vice president would sit in like a comedian, enjoy the spoils of this dirty, stinking government. At the end of it all, he has an alibi. Like Shaggy, it wasn't me. My brother, my sister, I won't trust a guy like this with the presidency. Ha! You remember when they were telling us every now and then, blaming every problem on the Russian war. The Russian-Ukrainian war, they told us, was responsible for the heat in Ghana. Remember when they told us and blamed everything on the COVID? It will be worse under Bawumia. My brother, a man who is so full of excuses, a man who is never wrong, he's always right, and he blames others for all the rot in the government. It's not somebody I can entrust with my life in the presidency. I leave it here. Now the next thing I would like us to look at, and it's quite interesting, is here. Many things are happening in the country. Let me deal with this one first. And it's coming from My Joy Online. It says, politicized nature of free SHS will hinder attempts by next government to review it. And this is a man called Kofi Asare talking. I don't really know him, but I think his face is familiar. Executive Director of Africa Education Watch, EduWatch, Kofi Asare, says the ruling New Patriotic Party, the MPP government, is the best government to review the free senior high school policy. According to him, the policy being the flagship program of the party and how it has been politicized means that if successive governments try to evaluate it to meet current demands, they would be accused of spoiling the policy. This is Kofi Asare. And this is what it says. Now, I don't give a rat's backside about who started it and who is making it better. My brother, should I say it again? I don't give a rat's backside to whoever started it and who is making it better. We live in a country where people are so mediocre in their thinking. Oh, these people started it. So if we have a way of making it better, they will come back and claim it. And if we make a mistake and we don't do it properly, they will say we have spoiled it. In the interest of the nation, we must all rise to loyalty and patriotism. My brother, what is free SHS? My son came to me last week and told me he was going for classes when he was supposed to be at home on vacation. I asked him, you are not tired? In my days, vacation was for you to rest and be able to read other materials and engage yourself in extracurricular activities. But today, there is no holiday for the students. Anytime they come home, teachers are calling them back to school. Some of them are organizing some so-called extra classes and making extra money off the students. It's like a doctor who is working with the nation and in one of the national hospitals, and he has his own private hospital. Any patient who comes there, even with catarrh, he refers you to his hospital. My brother, my sister, what is this free SHS at all? I have been touring the schools in Ghana lately with patriotism, my message of patriotism. And I realized that nobody fails at the SHS. From SHS 1, they move them hook, line, and sinker into SHS 2. Nobody fails. What kind of schooling is that? That nobody ever fails. Whether you pass or you fail, you have passed. At the end of the day, they just want you to walk through it. From the JSH level, my brother, my sister, they do not care. They pass everybody to the SHS level. Nobody ever stays back to write again. The only difference is you might not get the school of your choice. What kind of education are we giving to our children? Left to me alone, cancel this dirty SHS education. Free SHS is nothing but a scam. I hate it. What is this dirty SHS free education? For me, it's nothing but a scam. And Ghanaians are sitting down there and they are being scammed. If we cannot make it better, cancel it, my brother. What kind of education is this that you go for 1 month and go and sit home for 13 months? What kind of education is this that you go to school for 2 weeks, go home and sit down for 14 months before you get back to school? Extra classes, left, right, and center, milking the students night and day. Does this make common sense to you? I hate this SHS education the way it stands right now more than I hate Satan. My brother. And this was what brought these people into power. SHS, free SHS. We all were applauding because I love free education. Only for us to be scammed. You go to the school, they give them kenke and some soup. I hear some of the schools now call it gas. Because when you put it there and open the lid, all the thing is like gas. Very light. The head of Kobe, they put in there for 12 students to share. Is that your idea of free SHS? My brother, I prefer education that is qualitative and you pay for, more than one that is Kobe and gas free SHS. Mimpe. Better still, we want everybody to have education, basic education. We want everybody to go to school for free because Nkrumah did it. Many other people did it around the world. So we can do it with our gold and diamond and the rest. But we shouldn't send our students into slavery. I went to some of the schools. The students have grown so lean because they are eating the head of Kobe. 10 students are sharing the tail of a Kobe. How can they get protein for their brains to develop to study? What is happening? Is that your idea of the free SHS? For me, it is another slavery for our students. Review it. Look at it again. Please, let's spell it out correctly. What can we do? What can we not do? Because of political expediency, we throw our students into slavery. Papa. Well, we've taken so much time, so I'm going to spend just 1 minute on this. This one is from City Newsroom, and it says, Ghana Revenue Authority Board dissolved. GRA dissolved. Jesus have mercy. Remember when Bawumia started criticizing them and saying that they were chasing businessmen with iron hands? Well, the board has been dissolved. Now, the board of the Ghana Revenue Authority has been dissolved. President Akufo Addo is expected to announce a new board by the close of the day. It means the board has been sacked. Asema tukusie. Hey. Meanwhile, unconfirmed information suggests that the Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Reverend Amishadai Owusu-Amoah, has been relieved of his post. In other words, he has been sacked. Is this because of the investigation that went into the SML contract? Is it just enough to sack him and say, go home? Or we should take him to Nsawam and make the guys there who are hungry for sex sodomize him for some time at least? Missy Yamfano call kakra. Na Yamfano tun nzagru kakra. Ewa. Hey! My God have mercy. Amishadai has been sacked. And the board has been dissolved. And then, this is GRA. Now let's go to ECG. Another board of... Now, so he has resigned. My God. Resignations all over the place. Asema tukusiampa. I leave it here, my brother, my sister. I do not want to go deeper into this. It tells us how far this government has come. Now, elections are coming. Bawumia wants to be president by all means. So he wants to be seen to be working. Oh my God. So they are sacking people one after the other. All this sacking, all this reshuffling would only make sense to me if the president and the vice reshuffle and sack themselves. I leave it here.
This is